In the top stories, police continues investigation of house fire. Church leaders face growing fears after abduction in Haiti. And children abandoned and skeletal remains found in Texas. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, October 25th. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally, the police are investigating an incident in which a woman died and a man was seriously injured. On Thursday, October 21st, the police received a report of a house fire at Kidnapping. Upon arrival at the scene, officers met members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services present. They had already extinguished the fire. The residents of the house, 18-year-old Anika Carey and 23-year-old Kevon Rodriguez, were found inside the structure. Carey was pronounced dead by the district medical doctor. An autopsy has been scheduled to determine her exact cause of death. Rodriguez received severe burns about the body and is currently warded at the JNF General Hospital in a critical condition. Persons with information regarding this matter are urged to contact the Violent Crimes Unit by dialing 467-1887, 467-1888, 662-3468, their nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707, where information can be given anonymously. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, on behalf of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, handed over a plaque to the captain and crew of the Viking Orion on its inaugural call to St. Kitts. The cruise vessel made its call to Port Zante on Monday morning, following the World Navigator on Saturday. Giving brief remarks, Dr. Harris mentioned the history of discussions that have led to this moment.
Perhaps our rich history of engagement with you, which I'm advised dates back to 2016. Since then, several of the crews under the brand of the Viking have been visiting St. Kitts and Nevis. This, I am advised, is the inaugural visit of the Viking Orion. And so we thank you for coming, and we hope that the experiences that are recounted when the passengers get back on board will redound well for increased visits by your crews in the not-too-distant future.
The Orion will leave St. Kitts later today, heading to St. Lucia, then on to Barbados and other islands before returning to Fort Lauderdale on November 3rd. The Orion is one of 6 in the fleet of ocean cruises of the Viking Cruise Line. Its maiden voyage was in 2018. The staff of the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, along with volunteers, painted a tsunami mural in Green Valley, Keon on Sunday. Planning officer at NEMA, Ulrika Lennon-Petty, explained the rationale behind the project.
This project is actually a part of our Tsunami Ready program, as we are up for renewal for the second time. The first time we would have been Tsunami Ready recognized by UNESCO would have been in 2016, and so in 2021 NEMA and NDMD, the Nevis Disaster Management Department, is up for renewal, and this forms a part of this project, which is sponsored by UNESCO, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, and the NOAA Tsunami Warning Center Caribbean Office.
Facilitated by Director of Youth Empowerment, Pierre Liebert, who explained the concept of the mural.
The ideas were conceptualized by the young persons from the NEMA Youth Ambassadors. They came up with the various cultural iconic figures and ideas that are relevant to the different communities, and that's how we came up with the different ideas. You might see some valleys, a farmer, and some carnival ladies to represent Green Valley, and a lot of green.
Green Valley is a designated tsunami hazard assembly point. Regionally, investigators in Haiti have so far failed to trace 17 American and Canadian missionaries and their children kidnapped 10 days ago. The leader of the 400 Mawozo gang has threatened to kill them if his ransom of $17 million is not met. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
For control. It's early morning in Port-au-Prince, and worshippers dressed in their Sunday best are on their way to church. As a wave of violent crime grips the city, many are praying for divine intervention against criminal gangs who are fighting for control over Haiti's capital. Religious leaders tell us even places of worship have become a target for kidnappers.
We know we're a church that has been exposed because we are right there on the streets. A week ago, they tried to kidnap a member of our church. By the grace of God, she ran. So we all have been affected by what is going on in the country.
So far this year, at least 40 church members have been kidnapped in Haiti. This includes 17 missionaries associated with a US-based Christian charity who were abducted last weekend by a group called 400 Mawozo, one of the city's most dangerous gangs. Prayer services across town now count on added security measures like barbed-wired fences and even metal detectors to screen for danger.
This street in downtown Port-au-Prince leads to a church, and on Sunday mornings, security guards block off the exits using motor vehicles, and they keep a close watch on everyone who crosses the ropes. The efforts are to prevent kidnappers from driving up to the doors of the church and abducting the pastor.
In just the first 8 months of the year, close to 800 people were kidnapped in the country, and the UN is pointing to another alarming trend, a dramatic increase in the number of women and children being targeted.
Gangs.
This man, who has asked us to hide his identity, is a kidnapping survivor. He tells Al Jazeera that he still lives with the trauma of the experience and worries that it could happen again as insecurity continues to grow.
I'm scared right now for my son, because they come into the yard and pick up the person inside your yard. Right now, I don't have to take the car out for them to get kidnapping. I don't have to take my car out to go and get kidnapping. And they could come in here and pick me up.
More than 100 abductions have been recorded in the country in October alone. Haiti currently has the highest kidnapping rate in the world per capita. Many here say violence has grown beyond the ability for authorities to control. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera, Port-au-Prince.
The Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association launched its first group health, life and air ambulance insurance program for employers who want to provide insurance for their employees in the sector. More in this GBN News report.
The Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association on Tuesday launched its group health, life and air ambulance insurance program. This program is the first of its kind in the island's tourism industry and is said to be a new step in the execution of the GHTA plan to better harmonize the benefits provided to members' employees. This was made possible with the partnership of Medical Air Service Assist, Massa Assist, and the Guyana and Trinidad Mutual Fire and Life Insurance Companies, GTM. Chief Executive Officer Arlene Friday said the initiative is long overdue.
This is part of an entire initiative that GHTA has been really a part of from the start. Health has been our priority. Since last year, we were very much involved in training our sector in terms of infection control. We're also very actively involved in the vaccination drives that are going on throughout the island. And now this is another component that we're here to assist you with insurance.
GTM and Massa came together to provide an all-inclusive package that they considered affordable for employers who want to provide insurance for their employees. The program will join the list of benefits to all members, allowing businesses of all sizes to participate. The executive officer pointed out, as the COVID-19 pandemic continues, many continue to experience financial stress. The GHTA, therefore, plans to help alleviate health burdens by providing a holistic approach to healthcare with additional programs. Grenada's tourism sector is one of the largest employers in the country's economy. The employees will have access to healthcare for themselves and their families under this new initiative.
Internationally, 3 boys and the skeletal remains of a 4th were found abandoned inside an apartment unit during a welfare check in Texas after a 15-year-old called and told the police his 9-year-old brother was dead in the room next door for a year. Sophia Ojeda of KPRC2 News reports.
A horrific discovery late Sunday at the City Park 2 apartments on Greencrest Drive in West Houston. Authorities say 3 boys were found abandoned with the skeletal remains of another sibling inside the apartment.
And when they arrived, they discovered 3 juveniles just at plain view. It appears they're living in pretty deplorable conditions.
Investigators say the 15-year-old brother called the Harris County Sheriff's Office and said his parents had not lived in the apartment for months. A 10-year-old and 7-year-old sibling were also there, malnourished and with some signs of injuries. The skeletal remains of a 9-year-old sibling were also discovered. Authorities say he had been there for quite a long time.
You know, very disturbing sets of circumstances, so we definitely want some answers for these children.
The sheriff said the kids were getting food somehow, but they were not sure how or who was leaving it. The children are now being checked out at an area hospital. The Department of Family and Protective Services now seeking emergency custody of the 3 boys. Reporting live in West Houston, Sophia Ojeda, KPRC2 News.
Okay, Sophia, thank you.
International rights group Amnesty International said it would close its Hong Kong offices because a China-imposed security law had now made it effectively impossible for rights groups to work freely without the risk of reprisals. More in this Reuters report.
Rights group Amnesty International will shut its offices in Hong Kong by the end of this year. That decision was driven by Hong Kong's national security law. In a statement on Monday, the group said the China-imposed law has, quote, made it effectively impossible for human rights organizations in Hong Kong to work freely and without fear of serious reprisals from the government. In the past, Hong Kong had served as one of Asia's leading NGO hubs, with groups drawn to its robust rule of law and autonomy that was promised for Hong Kong after the control of the former British colony was returned to Beijing in 1997. But since the implementation of the security law last year, authorities have crushed a once vibrant civil society and curbed free speech and protests. At least 35 prominent groups have disbanded, including several leading trade unions, NGOs, and professional groups. While some groups have relocated to Taiwan, others are urgently shredding files and deleting photos and online material, fearing even once innocuous details could be used against them under Hong Kong's evolving security regime. Hong Kong and Chinese authorities say the national security law enshrines individual rights, justifying the laws as necessary to restore stability after mass protest in 2019, when millions took to the streets over many months. There is no immediate response from the Hong Kong government to a Reuters request for comment.
And now for the weather. Present weather is fair skies. Winds are a gentle breeze of 9 miles per hour from the east. Seas are 0.9 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today will be partly sunny and hazy with a 20% or a slight chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy and hazy with a 20% or a slight chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 5:43 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 6:07 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.